Welcome. It is time for us to talk about adverbs of frequency. Adverbs that help us say how often something happens. So let's take a look at 0%. If there is 0% of something happening, it means that it's never going to happen. So we could say, this will never happen. I will never leave my dog. He is never going to clean the house. Why do you never help me around the house? And so on. This was 0%. Now let's take a look at 5%. 5% is rarely. I rarely do something. So it's not never, but I don't do it very often. For example, we could say, I rarely go skiing. Or, he rarely washes the dishes. Or, my dog rarely barks. If we take a look at around 10%, we can use the word seldom. Seldom. It's a little more often than rarely. For example, I seldom go to the city beach. I prefer to go to the pool or to the seaside. My classes seldom take longer than 50 minutes, and so on. Now, at around 30%, there is the adverb occasionally. One more time, occasionally. Very good. So, I occasionally cook Chinese food. My husband and I occasionally go to a fancy restaurant. What do you do occasionally? By the way, when it comes to occasionally, you could put it in the beginning. For example, occasionally, my husband and I go for a dinner. But also, you can put it after the subject. My husband and I occasionally go for a dinner. You can also put it at the end. My husband and I go for a dinner occasionally. Now, when it comes to sometimes, it's somewhere around 50%. I sometimes go to karaoke parties. My dog sometimes eats mashed potatoes. Sometimes is not very movable, although you could put it at the beginning and at the end. It is better if you use it after the subject and before the verb. I sometimes do something. Let's take a look at 70%. When something is around 70% about to happen, then we can use the word often. For example, I often drink water every day. Or, let's say, my baby often plays in the living room. What do you do often? Or what do you often do? Both are okay. If something is around 80%, so if there is around 80% of a chance of something happening, then we can use the word frequently. For example, my grandmother frequently goes to the market. Again, after the subject and before the verb is the best location for this adverb. Around 90% is the adverb usually. If you do something usually, then you do it 90% of the time. For example, I usually have cereal for breakfast. Or I usually take my dog for a walk at 7 o'clock, but sometimes I take her out at around 8 o'clock, depending on the obligations. Finally, if something is 100% true, 100% of the time it happens, then we can use always. Of course, nothing really happens always, right? But we do use this word. For example, I always get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, except when I don't, right? So what do you always do? Feel free to write your answers, write your examples in the comments, and I will be more than happy to check them and give you my feedback. Thank you for watching. I hope this was useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!